So today, I am ranking all of the Supes from the boys, from the least powerful to the most powerful. And before we get started, I just want to say that I'm only ranking the main characters or the characters that were important for a few episodes. Also, Huey and Butcher won't be on this list as they weren't real Supes, just used temporary V. So, let's get started. And at number 14, The Deep. For an Aquaman copycat, the Deep has got to be the worst hero ever. I mean, yeah, he's sitting like a guy or two flying or something, and he can telepathically or talk to, semi-aquatic and aquatic animals. But all that's led to is either the animal getting killed or them both getting quote-unquote aroused. I'll admit, he went through a lot to get back on the 7 in Season 2. But, I mean, that's not necessarily a good thing. And that doesn't make up for everything wrong he's ever done. I mean, he got a lobster killed. He got a dolphin hit by a semi-truck, which is something I never thought I would say. And he's aroused by an octopus. Okay, this man, he is just a crappy person with a very, very low self-esteem. And that is the Deep in a nutshell. Moving on to number 13, Mesmerizer. This guy's power was that he could read people's minds while physically touching them. This power was perfect for helping cops solve cases, which is how he got famous as a kid. This is a solid power, but he himself was not a fighter. He had no superhuman physical strength, speed, or durability, or anything of the sort, and was brutally murdered by Butcher. He himself is also kind of a shitty person, as he gave up getting to know his daughter over getting a job back at Vault, and betrayed the boys in the process. Not necessarily a good person. So, yeah, he has like a cool power, but he's not like very powerful himself. Moving on to number 12, Lamplighter. This guy had a cool power. In pyrokinesis. He could manipulate already existing fire, which is why he carried around a lighter at all times, as he couldn't produce his own flames. He was still powerful though, as he easily incinerated people, and fire is destructive and will always be a cool power to have. But he doesn't have any feats against named characters, and he wasn't even immune to his own fire, as that's how he died. He killed himself by engulfing himself in flames in the Seven's room. He always wanted to be a part of the Seven and never got over the fact that he blew his chance at getting into the Seven. So when he was in the Seven's room, he, offed himself. Still a cool power though, but not that powerful. Next, number 11. Translucent. He could change his skin into this carbon metamaterial, granting him invisibility and diamond-hard skin. His invisibility made him master of stealth, although people who knew him, like Queen Maeve, knew when he was around and when he wasn't. He was very durable, very durable. He got back up after being hit by a speeding car and survived being electrocuted in the, well, where if you've seen the show. Even a high-caliber bullet made from the same carbon metamaterial couldn't pierce his skin. Only thing is, he struggled against Butcher, and his weakness to electricity is easily exploitable. Also, this perv should have been named Transparent, but whatever. Number 10 is Kenji Miyashiro. Kimiko's brother had a very strong telekinetic power. I mean, this guy lifted an entire docking ship out of the water and then tossed it. Sent Kimiko flying up several floors through a brick wall. And even dropped a ton of concrete debris and a bus on top of Homelander. This guy's powerful. The only problem is that he can only do that with his hands, not with his mind or any other body part. So when his hands were completely binded together, or after Stormfront broke both of his hands, he was useless and defenseless and easily killed. Number 9, Kimiko. She is a badass. She is strong enough to fight against Black Noir, casually break bones, and kill people with dildos. She's tough enough to survive being shot in the head easily and survive Soldier Boy's massive blast, and she has an incredible healing factor to boot. And she is very fast and agile, like very fast and agile. She's also a very skilled and violent fighter. The only reason she doesn't rank any higher is because everyone else is just more powerful, but she is still a badass, and I love her. She is amazing. Number 8 is Starlight. She's strong enough to lift the back end of a 3,000-pound car as part of her daily exercise. She's bulletproof, even to high-caliber rounds from her rifle, although they did send her flying back and they did obviously hurt, probably gave her some good bruises. But they didn't pierce her skin, and that's what matters. And she could project these photon blasts that sent people and Black Noir flying and staggered Stormfront and even Soldier Boy. But her light power is powered by surrounding electricity. No electricity, no power. And with her strength and durability, I wouldn't say she's any stronger or tougher than Kimiko. She just has her photon blast is what put her above Kimiko. She is the most genuine hero in the show, and she's even skilled in Taekwondo. But she's really not all that powerful. In comparison. But number 7 is A-Train. He's the fastest man alive. Sure he is, but yeah, let's go with that. He's the 7's version of the Flash. He beat Shockwave in a race that lasted like a second or something, I don't remember. Statued Starlight and her light blast could get all around Vought Tower in an instant, and was stated he could get around New York City in just 30 minutes. With all that speed comes incredible strength. He accidentally obliterated Robin to nothing more than a puddle of blood after just running into her. And he pulled an entire train a good distance as part of like a daily exercise. He's also survived 2 heart attacks and quickly recovered from a broken leg in just a few days. Granted, he was amped by Compound V at that time, but it's still impressive. And number 6, Victoria Neuman, also known as Head Exploder because that's her power. With a thought, she can cause people's body parts to explode. She can do this at a very far distance and or in rapid succession without any noticeable strain to herself. She's popped the heads of over a dozen people in that courtroom, and that included Supes like Shockwave, all while acting to be scared. She also made Starlight's nose bleed, just to presumably send a little message to her. Now, here's what keeps her out of the top 5. We don't know if having a high durability can stop or slow down her power. She's never tried killing someone like Soldier Boy or Homelander. The most powerful Supe she quote-unquote attacked was Annie, and she only caused a nosebleed to send a message, presumably. But maybe it took more effort to explode Annie's head because she was more durable than any other person she'd ever tried to kill before. We just don't know. So that's what keeps her out of the top 5. Number 5 is Black Noir. He was strong enough to overpower Starlight, throwing her through walls and smashing a cinder block over her head. He ignored being shot through the hand, 2 or 3 tripwire explosions, one of Starlight's blasts that sent him flying, and being at the epicenter of a massive fire explosion despite some of his skin being burnt like a juicy steak. Guy didn't even freaking budge. He also survived being force-fed almonds, which he was allergic to. 2 brutal, savage beatings from Soldier Boy, and it took Homelander ripping his guts out to kill him. He was also fast enough to catch a falling glass before it could hit the ground, and could apparently outpace cars. He was arguably the best fighter on the 7, being a master combatant and knife fighter and a stealth. But quite possibly, more impressive than all of that is the fact that he was the only member of the 7 that Homelander actually respected. We saw it at the end of season 3, saying when Homelander said he was worth more than all of the team. Despite that, though, Homelander still killed him. In number 4, Queen Maeve. She's the Wonder Woman of the 7. She's strong enough to stop a speeding truck by standing in front of it, going halfway through it, helped beat down Stormfront, held up a bus full of kids with one arm, and was even able to fight against Homelander and even make him bleed. She withstood hits from Homelander, having her eye crushed, and survived Soldier Boy's massive explosion, followed by a massive fall. Her gauntlets were able to block Homelander's eye beams. She's fast enough to block those eye beams, and she's a skilled hand-to-hand combatant and melee fighter, which makes sense considering she is Wonder Woman of the team, right? Yeah, I mean, she's solid. Number 4, top 5. She just doesn't quite make the cut when it comes to the top 3. And speaking of, number 3 is Stormfront. She was one of the most powerful Supes in the world and could presumably take on Homelander. She casually broke bones, destroyed buildings, threw Homelander around while quote-unquote doing the deed, and she was able to fight against Starlight, Queen Maeve, and Kimiko simultaneously. She withstood a beating from those 3 Supes, being stabbed in the eye, and she survived that massive blast from Ryan that blasted her hands and feet off. Her travel speed was very fast, probably similar to Homelander's, meaning she could fly several hundred miles per hour and even at Mach speeds. That's another thing, she could fly. She could also project lightning, and this fried a dude, sent Kimiko flying through a wall, and it could act as telekinesis as she used it to hold Kimiko in the air and throw her with enough force to momentarily knock her out. Stormfront was very powerful, but she was also just a crazy Nazi manipulating Homelander. That's all she was doing. I think we both know who the next 2 are. Number 2 is Soldier Boy. He was the most powerful man in the world and Vought's MVP before Homelander came around. He's strong enough to casually send a guy flying like 100 feet into the air, beat the holy crap out of Black Noir twice, send Starlight and an amped Billy Butcher flying all around easily, and he's the only one who could physically fight Homelander single-handedly, stopping one of his punches and bruising his face. He also just effortlessly carries his shield, as Huey couldn't even budge it, meaning this thing had to weigh a lot. Who knows how much it weighed. He was only fazed by an amped blast from Starlight, only angered when Ryan sent him flying through a wall, and took hits from an amped Billy Butcher and Homelander. He survived a massive fall and 40 years of torturous experimentations. He's a brutal and remorseless fighter with decades of experience fighting in wars and several battles. His shield was very tough, taking both Homelander's and Butcher's eye beams, followed by several hits from Butcher before it broke. He also has the power of a nuclear reactor. He can project this from his chest, and he has destroyed an entire street block, buildings, and it's believed it could kill Homelander. It could also fry the V out of Supes' blood, making them just an average human again. This happened to Kimiko and several other Supes. But obviously, number 1, Homelander. We all knew this was coming. He is the Superman of the show, the Superman of the 7. And yeah, he may be an unstable, sociopathic man with childlike tendencies or whatever. He needs to be loved by everyone and loves milk a little too much, but there's no mistaking it. He is the most powerful Supe in the world. There is no one stronger, no one tougher, no one faster. He can fly, and his eye beams can slice people up like a hot knife through butter. There's no one that is his physical equal. People are close. Soldier Boy is close. Queen Maeve is close. Stormfront is probably close. But he's at the top, and no one can surpass him. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave a comment of what you think, and hit the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos and all the great stuff. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day. Peace.